Welcome back to TACT Talks, where real foster carers share their real stories. I'm Chloe. If you caught our last episode, This is Fostering, you'll have heard Gemma, Karen, Nigel and Mark talk about how their fostering journeys began. If you haven't listened yet, go back and start there. It's a great place to begin. In today's episode, The Things No One Tells You About Fostering, we're back with the same brilliant group, and this time we're getting into the stuff that doesn't always make it into the brochure. The surprises, the misconceptions, and yes, the moments that made them laugh. Gemma, Karen, Nigel and Mark, welcome back. Any funny misunderstandings you've had? I'm looking at you, Nigel, because I'm sure there'll be some in terms of like fostering children, having kind of different understandings of things. Any funny misunderstandings?
Oh,
Any funny anecdotes?
I'm trying to think of a few now to come to mind.
I had a foster child who came home once, and he was a lovely little boy. Well, he wasn't little, he was a teenager, but he was a Jack the lad. He was funny. There was no harm or maliciousness in him, but he was into everything. And he came home one night, and Jeremy said to him, "Where's your bike? You haven't put your bike in the garage." "I've swapped it." "What for?" And behind him, he had a greyhound. He'd swapped his bike for a dog. And we were like, "What's that?" "He's called Rio." We were like, "Yeah, well, where's he staying?" "Here." "No, he's not. We already had our own dog. We didn't know what this dog was like." We were like, "He can't." And then I was up all night then trying to ring RSPCA and everything else. And he was going,
Trying to get Rio
"But he's all I've got in my life. This is," and I was like, "I know." But and I remember Jan having to come out in the morning. Jan was like, "Oh, what are we going to do?" And I was like, "I've tried to do everything." And then a friend of his rehomed Rio. But yeah, we were like, "You swapped your bike for a dog." Yeah,
Was
so
Rio well behaved? Was he house trained, Gem, or did you have lots
I
of
didn't have him there long enough, really. He was all right the time he was there, but yeah, so that was funny for us.
Yeah. Glad you could see the funny side, though.
Oh yeah, there's been, I'm sure everybody's got a funny story somewhere. Yeah.
What is there anything that family and friends think about fostering, or assume about fostering that isn't true? Anything you've come across when you first started talking about fostering to your family and friends and your...
Well, they do say, "No, how can you do that?"
I'd get too attached.
Yeah, you know.
I couldn't give him back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all say that, don't they?
Yeah.
Or I couldn't cope with that, and I'd say, well, why not?
Yeah.
You know, you don't know until you try. You know, you need a lot of patience, a lot of understanding.
Yeah.
You know, and you will get there. You know, I think anybody can do it. Anybody.
Everybody says, "Oh, it's a wonderful job you're doing." Everybody
Yeah,
praises it.
yes,
the job
they
you're
do.
doing.
But they couldn't do it themselves.
They couldn't do
So
it
they couldn't do it
themselves.
themselves.
But they can. They
Yeah.
could.
Yeah.
You know, as I said, the family, and I'm sure everybody's family's been exactly the same. My family were being supportive from day one.
Yeah.
And they said, "Okay, it's your choice to have the children. That's fine." We'd go to my parents on a Sunday for tea. Boys would come in, we'd sit down, we'd have tea and whatever. My parents got on really well with them, and they were fantastic. And all of my family were the same.
Yeah.
They were all supportive of what we did. But as you say, they all said, "Rather you than me."
Yeah.
We couldn't do it. Yes, you could. You know the two boys now.
Yeah.
You could do this. My brothers and whatever. They could do that. And friends who knew. And when you get to, with the school, when you're in the school, you get to know other parents as well.
Yeah.
And then when they get to know that the children are in foster care, it's, they foster care, are you?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm foster care. Oh, right, okay. Oh, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, you could.
Yes,
Yeah.
you
You could.
I
And
say,
when-
why not? I do. Why not?
Yeah.
You know.
That's not our job, is it?
Yeah.
So that's not a job, is it? It's just being a parent.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
So,
One of
when
Fiona's
you label
friends-
a job, it's not a job.
One of Fiona's best friends from school went through, she had her own children, 4 of her own children, and then she knew we were foster carers and had been for a long time. And they decided that Adrian was made redundant, and they said, right, okay, we'll try it. So they applied to the local authority, did their training, and they've been foster carers now for 12 years. Doing really, really well.
And I think it goes back to the old misconception that the children are in foster care because they're naughty. Because that's how it used to be years ago, wasn't it? A child was in
It's
foster
not
care.
that's not
because they
the
were
case, so
naughty.
Jem is
No,
in.
that's not the case.
No.
And I think people lose sight of that.
Yeah.
They're in, half these children are in care because of their background, not
Yeah.
because of, anything they've done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's...
And they think they've done it, though, don't they?
Yeah.
A lot of children think they've been naughty.
They think
Yeah.
they are
It's
the
their
problem.
fault. It's their fault they didn't care. It's their fault they got to be fostered. And it's not. It's not the case.
What's a myth about fostering that makes you laugh?
The biggest myth is, as Gemma said, is the children you get are all problematic. Yeah, they're not problematic. It's due to the unfortunate circumstances of each of them as to why they're in the situation. They don't choose to be in that situation. Far from it.
And I think a lot of people, like the myth, think that they're all naughty.
They're all naughty, yeah.
I wouldn't force them because what would I want a naughty
How can
child
you
in my
cope with
life
a naughty
for?
child? It's not the case.
That's not the case.
Yeah, and all teenagers are troublemates.
And I think people think as well, you have them for a couple of days and then they move on, then you've got another child. And that's not the case. I mean, I've had my little boy now 5 years. And prior to that, I've had, somebody come for a weekend. I've had somebody stay for a fortnight. But I think people think that the children are in and out daily.
And it's not.
And
You
it's
do
not.
hear like, I couldn't say goodbye. A lot of people think, and that puts them off, doesn't it?
Yeah. It is hard when they leave home, when they leave you, and it is hard. It pulls at your heartstrings, but they're going on to better and brighter things.
Stressful for us, isn't it?
But don't let it put you off.
But it wouldn't.
I always say
But we know they've either got to go back to their parents, which is happy. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And going back to the parents if it's all resolved, or they move on to better things in their own life as they get older.
The two boys that we had at the beginning, 24 years ago, one of them is 30 next month, and we still have contact with him on a regular basis. I see him 2 or 3 times a week. His brother, who left us when he was 16, still says today the biggest mistake he ever made. He got himself in a position where he wanted to leave, he wanted to go back to where he'd come from. He made it so difficult that we had to let him go. And every time we saw him, biggest mistake he ever made. I should have stayed with you and Fiona. It's my own fault. I know now. I look back and I say, I shouldn't have done what I did. But ultimately, it's the biggest mistake I ever made. Because he can see, because he can see his brother we're still supporting his brother, and even now to this day, and he's 30 next month. But he can see that he lost that part of the support that he needed when he was 16. He needed it more when he was 16 than he did when he was 26.
They realise it, don't they?
And he realises it then.
the grass is always greener, isn't
Absolutely.
Well, our foster child, wasn't it?
Yeah. Corey he was our first foster child, and he's thriving now, he is, but he comes there Mother's Day with gifts, Christmas, and he's always on the phone to Nigel, and Nigel wants advice, and pops in now and again, he does, and
He had his files.
phones us.
He had his files, didn't he?
Yeah,
He
he had his my diary,
Oh, okay.
and he phoned me up one day. I won't say exactly what he said, because you'd have to bleep it out.
We've seen his TikToks.
Yeah, he said, "Oh, Karen, I put you through hell, didn't I?" I said, "It wasn't that bad, Corey."
Where we thought it wasn't bad, he thought, oh my God, sorry, I put you through hell.
But he's still in touch.
Yes, he is, yeah.
He's always in
And
contact
he do always say thank you to us, didn't he?
Yeah. What's the moment that reminded you why you foster?
Oh, there's loads. Not just one, there's loads, that is, isn't it?
Family life.
Yeah.
Busy household.
Yeah.
Going
Christmas
somewhere.
time, birthdays.
Especially
all
getting up
that.
at Christmas morning and you've got children in the house where you didn't have children.
Yeah.
The other ones are grown up and that's the reason why is little moments like that.
Weekends particularly, because it's not a sort of school day and you've got things then, it's your free time effectively, and it's busy then. We're doing this morning, we're doing this afternoon, and tonight we're having a takeaway tonight. Oh, Chinese takeaway, wonderful. And it's something to look forward to. So the weekends you got into a pattern of doing certain things, and then obviously with the football and doing other things, and he'd be playing football in the morning. We'd come back, he'd have a shower, we'd go to the football to watch the Swans in the afternoon, then we'd do that, then the evening, then, Chinese now, and all of a sudden it's 9:30 on a Saturday night, and your day is gone. You haven't stopped all day, and then he'd say, right, I'm going to bed now, I'm tired now, okay, and he'd be gone. But That day, those days, Sunday, I never lying on a Sunday then. You're going to relax on Sunday now because back to school tomorrow, day of rest, calm down, we'll do something.
I can't relax on Sunday. All my children and family like my dinner, but
Yeah, he has to cook Sunday dinner.
all my children that come into foster with me, they'll always say it's the best dinner they've ever had.
Sunday
We'll
night.
have to try that one day.
Night.
I think what's really standing out hearing all of you talk is the kind of normality of fostering and just how it's just like parenting, again. What's been the hardest part of fostering, would you say?
Initially, the change in your family makeup and adapting to that. Because when we went from a family of 4 to a family of 6, it is difficult because you're managing different people, you manage different numbers, things like going shopping become more of a challenge because all of a sudden you've got more people in the car. So the first thing we had to do was to buy a bigger car to fit 6 people in it. So that was the first challenge. But again, things that happen on a day-to-day basis that you think, oh, hang on, we haven't come across that before. And that they are the challenges, but you adapt to them and you manage them. And that was what we found initially was the biggest challenge, the change in the family dynamic right at the beginning.
I think the same with us, exactly the same with us, and the change in dynamics in the household.
Our house went from quiet to quite busy, you're doing things, school
I wouldn't
runs
say
or
it was
whatever.
hard, you just, like Mark said, adapt to it.
Yeah, of course
you
you do.
adapting to
Yeah.
it. It's what we wanted originally, so I don't think it was hard.
No.
I just find it adapted.
Different.
Yeah, different.
Yeah.
I don't find anything hard.
No, you
adapt to things.
Every child got different needs and things like that. So you just adapt to their needs then, really, don't you?
Yeah.
I think the biggest challenge were people or young people that came in for shorter periods of time than, we'd say, like yourself, Nigel, we had a phone call, we need a placement for this young man now. Can you take him? And he arrived within an hour. And all of a sudden you think, right, I know nothing about this child at all, other than he's come from somewhere, whatever. It's then working out how you manage that within the home. And they come with a bag. And literally, that's all he's come.
Tesco's 24 hours, pyjamas, pants, socks.
Turns up with the car,
Yeah.
One pants, one pair of socks and one t-shirt.
You got to do a bit quick shopping
What's
run
going on,
then.
like?
Those are the bigger challenges.
Yeah, they're
the ones where the placements are longer term. Once you get over the initial challenge, then you manage it. But those that come in, think all of a sudden are just arrived.
The emergency placements.
The emergency ones are a real challenge. Because you're dealing with different dynamics, you're dealing with a different ball game completely.
And you don't know the old dynamics of the child anyway.
And you don't know how long they stay in.
No.
Because they may still be in the process of going through the courts. So you can't put too much in place because you don't know if that child's going to be there for 1 day, 2 weeks, 2 years. It's very difficult. To plan anything then, isn't it? It's
What keeps you going on those hard days?
Support each other.
Yeah.
Our support together keeps us going.
Yeah, do to me when...
Bounce off each other.
Yeah.
and a sense of humour.
Yeah,
You've got to have a sense of humour. You've got to have a sense of humour.
Yeah.
And they do make you laugh, these children, don't they? The things they come out with, they really do make you laugh.
And they adapt to the way you live as well, the way you speak. In your home, not outside obviously, but in your home you speak differently.
This is the lad we got now.
They adapt to you, don't they?
He's got a quite high IQ. So I said, you are full of brains. Whose brains have you got? Well, I got my own, of course I have. Whose brains do you think I got? I meant, is he following my dad that way, but I got my own brains, Karen.
we were sitting there one day with him and we were talking about something. He said, you haven't got a very good IQ, have you?
Yeah, a sense of humour is an absolute must.
Absolute must.
Yeah, absolute must.
So thinking about things your children have taught you, what has fostering taught you about yourself?
Be patient. Have a lot of patience. You need a lot of patience and a lot of love. A lot of TLC, tender loving care. That's how I would put it. Yeah. These children come from a lot of trauma, some of them. And lots of cuddles they need. And...
nurture.
Yeah, nurture. Just be there for them, support them no matter what.
But you think of the type of people that we are. You in a way, you've got to be a type of person to do this job.
Yeah, training hasn't given us this.
No.
Training helps.
Your training helps, but it doesn't.
Your heart is ready for it.
Yes, which is why you come into it in the first place. You were that type of person, and not everybody is. And when people say, "Oh, I couldn't do that," because they are temperament, but perhaps their temperament is wrong. Perhaps they haven't got that empathy. Perhaps they haven't got that ability to understand the types of people that are going to be coming through their door. Whereas, my mother says to me, "You are fantastic." I am. I know I am, because of what I do. I do a good job. And my wife is equally as fantastic with the kids. But you've got to be that type of person. Yeah. If you are, you'll step forward and you'll step up to do this type of job.
Yeah, you can't train a carer. No.
But I think it's a big part of it, your own upbringing.
Yeah.
Of how you are as a person to be a foster carer. That's what I mean. I think you've got to be that type of person, like you said.
Yeah. And I think something that is massively needed in foster care is in terms of like a characteristic that you've all spoken about today is the ability to adapt. Yeah. So you adapt your parenting to each different child that you're caring for and being able to kind of think outside the box and try different things. Yeah.
But that's like your own child, isn't it? Yeah. You've got 2 children, one's never the same, are they?
And that's where it's great because
so you can adapt.
Karen and Nigel, they have their own birth children. Yeah. Myself and Jeremy don't have birth children, yet we're able to foster. We parent these children. You don't need to have parenting skills to do this. You don't have to. So for anybody who's thinking, I've got no experience, that's a myth.
Yeah, definitely.
It is a myth. Yeah. And if you're that type of person, as Mark said, it'll just come naturally to you anyway, as a as you would with a parent.
And sometimes all training that we do doesn't cover everything that we need it to. And sometimes you have to think on your feet. Yeah. And something will happen. You think, I haven't seen this in training. Hang on a second.
How do I do this?
How do I do it? Yeah. How can I resolve the situation? Yeah. And then your instincts kick in then, rather than, oh, hang on, what training course did I see that on? Yeah, you understand that, but you adapt your situation, think, hang on a second, right, I need to think about this. And sometimes you've got to think outside the box. As you say, when you potty training, if you do one, you can have a chocolate.
Yeah. If you do 2, you have a
double. If you have 2, you have a double solid chocolate.
Thank you again to Gemma, Karen, Nigel and Mark. Honestly, I could listen to you all for hours. If today's episode has shown you anything, it's that fostering is real life, messy, funny, surprising and completely worth it. If you're curious about what life could look like for you, we'd love to talk. Visit tactfostering.org.uk or give us a call. Until next time on TACT Talks.